This is Dr. Savita Chabha from Srimati P. Women's College, Ghatkovar. For today, I have selected the title of my research paper as Crystallizing the Assistance of Literary Translations in Global Scenario. Since we all are discussing what will be the future of Indian English languages and also of the ELTAI, English teaching strategies, English teaching language, various experiments into it. Translation plays a vital role, not just in localized parts, but globally, because it is the language which makes every part of the world a special one. And when it comes to the power and hegemony and the standardized global scenario, nobody can escape of the native language and the influence of the powerful language, I mean the cultural hegemony involved into it. So translation plays a fundamental role and makes an impact in forming relationships, spreading knowledge and transmitting information around the world. The significance of literary translation is immense with respect to world peace, unity and progress. Being a Rotarian, I always think of what is the ultimate aim of humanity. This is nothing but world peace, unity and progress. Translation is used as a medium of correspondence for multilingual announcements and is used as a medium of correspondence for announcement, and it is instrumental in transmitting culture. Translation is important in a world of over 7,000 spoken languages because it allows people to communicate and understand each other's thoughts and cultures without having to learn a second language. If I am an Indian, if I want to know what Shakespeare thought and what that Elizabethan poets and dramatists thought by them, if I study those dramas, poetry, I definitely understand that historical scenario of the Elizabethan period. So, its translation gives us the way to know the world better in the limited span of time. Translation fuels the global economy because of the increasing globalization and technological advances. It's all about the global power, that's about economy. So globalization, which comes forward with the economical standardization, translation plays a vital role into it. We live in a world where foreign affairs are becoming increasingly relevant and where we ingest content and entertainment from around the globe. We are experiencing a global village being developed where everyone exchanges thoughts, behaviors and cultures. Escape from this globalization is practically impossible. Now here, this paper will focus on to how globalization, the term itself, somewhat skips away the importance of translation involved into it. I have referred to the theories into which globalization talks more about the materialistic things, commodities and businesses and tourism, but less approach is given to the cultural transformation or cultural connotations out of it. So here I would like to talk, try to be shorter as possible, but globalization is the key word that I have referred into it. What is globalization for us? Globalization has been defined as the widening, deepening and speeding up of worldwide interconnectedness in all aspects of contemporary social life, and is notably not a new phenomenon, but it was already present in the world religions and empires of antiquity as well. There are three important characteristics of latest globalization if we consider. Number one, the first is the new extreme mobility of capital associated with the deregulation of financial markets and new information technologies which dramatically enhance the communication capabilities of firms. Second is the fall in the cost and time needed to move commodities and people, and the overcoming of space as a crucial factor. And number three is sharp acceleration in the means of global communications and the consolidation of a global media system. Next, the paper talks about the compression of the world, how the world is getting compressed and the frontiers, barriers of different nations are bridging up. The spaces of flows. Here the paper would explore the connotations related to culture, how taking a shape in front of our eyes on daily basis. So, in this, I would like to ask you a question, a short one. How can cultures be grasped, let alone evaluated, at the flick of a switch? Can they be examined and compared without resource to translation? It's just not possible, because translations are the only means which have to be thoughtfully thought over as a means to peep into a culture, to know a different culture, and also to help the humanity to progress together, to attain world peace. I think IKS, Indian Knowledge System, has rightfully understood this fact, and this NEP also they are focused on to giving weightage to the regional languages and trying to assimilate the cultures of nativity. And so the world is changing now, and henceforth it will definitely shape and understand the importance of translations, local entities, that having equal importance as like a standard hegemonic structures. The global economy, if we talk about, which emerged in the 1990s, is constituted by an informational core, that is financial markets, international trade, transnational production and specialized labor, but also by local or regional production disconnected from it, and is thus structured by asymmetry and inequality in its midst. Focusing on the next point, the analytical place of translation in globalization is thought. The conception of the global city as a frontier zone, a key place for the articulation of the global and the local, for the organization of the material infrastructures that make globalization possible, introduces an important theoretical move in globalization theory. Globalization is considered as a translation because various world countries, cultures, they are translated as per the need base. Domesticated translations minimize cultural and linguistic difference under the appearance of transparency. They invisibly inscribe foreign texts with English language values and provide readers with the narcissistic experience of recognizing their own culture in a cultural other. So here we can think of the various terms like hybridity, hybridization, double consciousness, into which the culture of one's own can be seen as somebody else's from the spectacles of somebody else. So it's like looking at myself with from the eyes of somebody else's. This is the thing of double consciousness, which is always seen in translation. Of course, we talk about lingua franca. This is what there is the free-floating lingua franca, international English, that has largely lost track of its original cultural identity. When I want to translate any text written in my regional language into English, has its own nativity compiled into it? As such, it is not, because it is itself a mixture of so many languages internationally. So its idioms, its hidden connotations, its grammatical subtleties, and has become a reduced, standardized form of language from supracultural communication. The Mac language of our globalized Mac world, or the Eurospeak of our multilingual continent. That our fellow participant who just now presented the paper has rightfully stressed on this matter as well.
Can you just conclude with the
I'll just conclude because I'll also stick to the time. Conclusion, I would go like this. Accounts of globalizations have primarily focused on the increased capacity for instant communication worldwide, ignoring the necessary preconditions for achieving it. The important role played by translation in the production and circulation of global information flows has been made invisible and transparent. And this has led to the assumption that information can circulate and alter across different linguistic communities and cultures, which is not so. An analysis of translation as a key infrastructure of globalization offers a way of exploring the articulation between the global and the local on a concrete material level. In particular, it allows us to conceptualize and empirically homogenization and Anglo-American domination are mediated at the local level through strategies of domestication and hybridization. So there is always a scope of going with domestication and hybridization to have a better role of translation to make this world a better place to live and to attain peace, unity and progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, please?